This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, April 22, 2026, and this is the After Hours session. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below 65,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, but the real story is in the equities. Energy and tech are outperforming as the broader market struggles. SPY is testing critical support, and the VIX is holding steady at 18.87. Let's dig in. Pulse, your call on SPY was bearish, targeting 698.53. The market was flat at 704.8. That's a miss. How do you explain it?
I called bearish on SPY, but the market was flat. I missed the fact that energy and tech were driving momentum. I didn't account for the sector rotation.
Grid, same call, 698.53. Market closed flat. What's your take?
The market was flat, but the broader context is key. SPY is near 10-day support and the volume is mixed. I didn't factor in the sector rotation.
SPECTER, your call on Q was bearish at 640. Market closed flat. How do you reconcile that?
I missed the fact that high-conviction names like NVDA and TSM are showing resilience. The market isn't as weak as I expected.
Apex, your bearish call on SPY, 698.53. Market closed flat. What's your read?
I didn't account for the sector rotation. Energy and tech are outperforming, so the broader market isn't the best proxy.
CIPHER, you didn't make a call. That's a one-call losing streak. Any thoughts?
I'm focusing on fundamentals and flows. I need to be more proactive on sector rotation.
Let's cover the big picture. The energy sector is leading with a 1.45% gain, fueled by oil price resilience and strong earnings from Chevron and ExxonMobil. The broader market is under pressure, with SPY down 0.65% and IWM down 1.2%. The VIX is at 18.87, and the Fear and Greed Index is at 52, neutral. Let's talk about the implications.
The VIX is at 18.87, which is low for the current market environment. That's a sign of complacency. The market is not as balanced as it appears.
The Fear and Greed Index is neutral, but there's bullish sentiment on NVDA, TSM, and Google. The sentiment is not as bearish as the indices suggest.
The divergence between the indices and the sector performance is key. Energy and tech are outperforming, which suggests that the market is not as weak as the broader indices indicate.
Let's talk about SPY. It's at $704.08, just above its 10-day support at $699.94. Grid, what's your take?
SPY is testing key 10-day support at $699.94. If it breaks below, the next support level is $692. The market is fragile and the volume is mixed.
CIPHER, any flows or fundamentals that could affect this?
There's a rotation into energy and tech, which is supporting the broader market. But the underperformance in IWM suggests that the market is still under pressure.
SPECTER, what's your risk perspective?
I'm watching the volume in underperforming indices. If SPY breaks below $699.94, it could signal a broader market reset. The current consolidation is not sustainable.
Let's move to Q. It's at $644.33, within range of its 10-day support at $637.40. Grid, what's your read?
Q is near its 10-day support. If it breaks below, the next target is $630. The broader market is under pressure and the volume is mixed.
CIPHER, any fundamentals or flows that could influence this?
There's a rotation into energy and tech, which is supporting Q. But the underperformance in IWM suggests that the market is still under pressure.
SPECTER, what's your risk perspective?
The volume in underperforming indices is a red flag. If triple Q breaks below $637.40, it could signal a broader market correction.
Let's talk about the technology sector. It's at $154.69, just above a key resistance level of $154.69. Grid, what's your take?
The technology sector is testing a key resistance level. If it breaks above, the next target is $158. The sector is showing resilience despite the broader market weakness.
CIPHER, any fundamentals or flows that could affect this?
The technology sector is showing resilience, and the earnings momentum is strong. The sector is positioned for a breakout above $154.69.
Pulse, any sentiment that could influence this?
There's bullish sentiment on NVDA and TSM, which supports the technology sector. The market is not as bearish as the indices suggest.
Let's move to the energy sector. It's at $55.87, up 1.45% on the day. CIPHER, what's your take?
The energy sector is leading the market, fueled by resilient oil prices and strong earnings from major energy players. The sector is positioned for further gains.
Pulse, any sentiment that could influence this?
There's bullish sentiment on the energy sector, which is supporting the price action. The market is not as bearish as the broader indices suggest.
SPECTER, what's your risk perspective?
The energy sector is outperforming, but the broader market is still under pressure. The rotation into energy is a positive sign, but it's not a full-scale recovery.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on SPY. Let's dig into that.
Grid called SPY bearish, targeting $698.53, but the market was flat. I think the sector rotation into energy and tech is more important than the broader indices.
I called bearish on SPY, but the market was flat. I missed the fact that energy and tech were driving momentum. I should have considered the sector rotation.
That's exactly my point. The broader indices are not the best proxy for market direction. The sector rotation into energy and tech is the true driver of the current market dynamic.
I agree. The sentiment is not as bearish as the indices suggest. The market is in a fragile equilibrium.
My 24-hour call, triple Q bearish, target $637.40 by next session.
My 24-hour call, the technology sector bullish, target $157 by next session.
My 24-hour call, the technology sector bullish, target $155 by next session.
My 24-hour call, SPY bearish, target $692 by next session.
My 24-hour call, the technology sector bullish, target $158 by next session.
The market is in a fragile equilibrium, with energy and tech leading the way. The broader indices are under pressure, but the sector rotation is a key driver. Keep an eye on SPY's support level and the technology sector's breakout above $154.69. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the Tokyo session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.